Everyone, come take a look. This guy actually found a scrapped bearing at a recycling center and then brought it to an old-school repair shop where the repairman wearing glasses began working on it. It's not that he couldn't afford a brand new bearing, but that the repaired bearing offers better value for the money. To restore this bearing to normal working condition, the repairman first used an angle grinder to cut away the cracked section. Then, with a few taps using a small hammer technique, bearing split into two halves. Next, to ensure the bearing could be restored to its original function, the repairman used gasoline to thoroughly clean the dirt inside. After a series of swift and precise moves, he quickly finished cleaning the bearing. To fix the damaged outer ring, the repairman used an angle grinder to smooth out the fractured area. However, this process caused the inner diameter of the outer ring to shrink. So the repairman had to cut out two metal plates with the grinder. The purpose of this was to compensate for the reduced size of the outer ring by adding the metal plates. To prevent the outer ring from shifting during the rest of the repair process, the repairman used a clamp to temporarily secure it and carefully measured with calipers. After confirming the surface was perfectly even, he was able to perform simple welding to fix it temporarily. After the initial welding, the repairman removed the metal plates inside. To improve the strength of the fractured area, he used the angle grinder again to precisely cut into the damaged spot. By doing so, he could weld the cracked area more thoroughly. For the repairman, welding the outer ring of the bearing was relatively simple. After some quick and skilled work, the cracked area was fully repaired. Since the inner ring of the bearing was also cracked, the repairman simply used the angle grinder to create a groove and then welded it. The meticulous repairman repeatedly chipped off the welding slag and gradually welded the cracked area. Finally, all the damaged parts of the bearing were fully repaired. As the welded spots were still uneven, the repairman used a lathe tool to carefully smooth them out. For someone with his experience, the cutting process was quite simple. He skillfully operated the lathe to flatten the surface, then used a smaller tool to trim and cut the welding scars on the inside. To ensure the inside was smooth enough, after finishing the cutting, the repairman used a grinding head to meticulously polish the interior. Only by making sure the inside was smooth enough could he reduce the wear on the internal ball bearing. After finishing polishing the outer ring, he did the same for the cracked inner ring, which was polished just as quickly. To reassemble the repaired bearing, the repairman used a punch to disassemble the cage holding the bearings, and then reinstalled the ball bearings into place. This process was very straightforward, and after all the balls were in, he reinstalled the cage. Cage was fixed in place using rivets. With his experienced and precise hammering, the repairman finally completed the repair of this scrapped bearing. What do you think of the repairman's technique? You had to give a score out of 10, how much would you give him?